starting position, Tai Chi Qigong starting position. So legs in line with your hips, feet in line with your hips. Drop that sacrum down and just imagine your spine dropping down at the lumbar, but lifting up at the cervical area in the neck. Little star string attached to your crown of your head, just over DU20. Soft little space at your axilla. Shoulders relaxed. Chin just tucked in a tiny bit. And just drop into some nice deep breathing. Find a deep rhythmic breath down in the belly in your own time. Breathe in and out through the nose. You can pop your hands over your belly so that you feel the rise and the fall of the belly as you breathe in and you breathe out. And you can just root your feet down into the ground and just arrive. I've had a busy day, so I'm starting to yawn already. You can allow your inhale and your exhale to be roughly the same amount of time, because we're going to do quite a lot of active work before we go into the relaxation, more relaxation with the flow. Noticing how your body feels, whether you feel tired or energized, whether you feel soft and flexible or a little bit stiff anywhere in your body. Just notice that. Notice how when you pay attention to your breathing, it automatically deepens. Okay, so the quickest way to get qi is to breathe. And once we've breathed in some of this qi, we're going to circulate it through the body. And that's why we do Qigong, to get our qi circulating through the body. So good way to start. Let's start with knocking on the door of life. It's a nice yang exercise. It's a wake-up exercise. Knocking just below the navel and over your second lumbar vertebra, which is called Ming Men, which means the door of life or the gate of life. Point we're knocking on in front, just below the navel, is, well, it's our lower dantian, but acupuncture-wise, it's called the sea of energy. So these are very uplifting points to work on if you're a bit sluggish. Feeling the rotation going through your hips and feeling the rotation going through your low lumbar spine. It's often quite a stiff area. Right, leaving one hand at the bottom, the other one coming up into shoulder nest, which is over the first and second rib, and it's over the first and second lung point. And so when we knock here, we're going to improve our immunity. So great to do for wintertime. And then we're going to take one hand over to the angle of the neck, which is over gallbladder 21. And it's a point for clear thinking and decision making in the old Chinese classical books. So, need to make a decision? Come and knock here first. But of course, it's an area over the trapezius, and trapezius has lots of trigger points in. If you've got lots of trigger points in your trapezius, you get headaches. So this would be very good to clear your headaches. And once you've cleared your headaches, you start to think clearly again. Okay, back to shoulder nest. Feel your tailbone dropping down, head lifting up. Back to Ming Men and sea of energy. Load onto you. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. And slow down. Okay. Right, so to move the energy, to clear particularly heavy emotional energy, it's nice to knock up and down just where the ribs join onto your breastbone, the sternum. Also over the kidney meridian here as well. Top of the kidney meridian that begins under the foot at Bubbling Spring and it finishes here, kidney 27, just next to where the clavicle joins onto the top of the sternum. So let's just clear that a little bit. And then from there, going down into the arm, clapping down the front of the arm and up the back of the arm over trapezius. And down you go again. This can be very soft or it can be firm. It depends on how you're feeling. If you're really sluggish, then you want really nice and fast and strongly. But if you're very weak, then you just do little taps till your body gets used to that extra stimulus coming through. Working on the lung meridians, heart, pericardium, triple heater, small intestine, large intestine, back to the center. Breathe in, out through your mouth, wanting to release tension. Good to breathe out through the mouth. And to the other side, open up. And down you go. And it's fun to move around when you do these exercises. You don't have to stand completely still. Over the top of the trapezius there. And back to the center. Okay. Hands behind the kidneys. And a little bit of tapping on the lower back from about your T12 down to the sacrum. Hands together, or you can just rub. If you don't want to knock, you can just rub. And then we'll go down the bladder meridian, so along the middle of the buttock and then down the legs all the way down, coming up the kidney meridian as we come back and around. So sometimes we do this middle of the buttock, down the middle of the legs, coming up. And sometimes when we do that, we come along the side of the hips here, and now we're over the gallbladder meridian, and down you come. And so when we went to that, we'd actually be thinking a little bit more about coming up the liver meridian, going down the gallbladder, and coming up the liver. A little bit of knock on the quad, the gates of the leg. Softness in your hips. Feel your hips sinking down, hips folding, knees folding, easy. Nice to strengthen your legs up. And then let's come onto that little sea of energy. Let's give it a little bit of a wake up there. Lift your body, let your body feel taller. Dropping the sacrum, lifting up through the cervical spine. A little bit of a hello to the liver. Liver extending just below the ribs on the right-hand side. And then over to the spleen and stomach on the left-hand side. And let's go right around the large intestine. Ascending, transverse, descending. bring your hands onto your belly and just nice little rub in. So as we do our breathing, we massage the internal organs. And when we do all this knocking, we actually facilitate movement and give it a little bit of vitamins. Okay, all right. Let's go into just some clearing. Tiger clears the way. Anything you need to get rid of, whether it's thoughts in your head that just hang around for too long, or heavy emotions, or tension in your neck and shoulders, particularly behind your shoulder blades. This is very nice for letting your rhomboids go. And because we're clearing, going to breathe out through the mouth. It's a tiger, so it's got almost little claws in your fingers there. So and let's give a feeling your sort of energetic sphere around you as you do that. There's almost an invisible wall over there. It's quite permeable, but it's there. So we want this area here is called our Wei Qi, which is our sort of outer defense here. And in Chinese medicine, this is where it's easiest to stop things, whether it's emotional issues or physical issues or mental issues. You don't let them come in. And sometimes, like, you'll get cold here, and then the skin is your next barrier. And then obviously afterwards it goes deep into the body. So you really want to deal with things here rather than when they're already deeply growing inside. Okay, let's do the bear swaying. So we're going to lift one leg at the same time the opposite arm comes up. So lift up and land on your heel. As you land, the same arm comes up and you come forwards and turn. So bear swaying his hips. Try and get both arms up to the same level and then swing around to the other side. Just do it slowly so that you can feel what you're doing. So you breathe into one side. It's good for your balance. It's good for movement through the waist. And whenever you're turning the waist strongly like this, you're really moving all your organs around, keeping them nice and flexible so they're not all woody and hard. And come to the center, opposite side. So we're looking at this leg, this arm coming up, opposite arm coming up. As your heel comes down, let the other arm come forwards and take your weight into the front leg, back leg as you lean back, front leg, back leg, and front. Breathe into one side, out to the other. You can speed it up a bit if you like. So the bear's kind of warmed up so you can move a little bit faster, but don't lose your balance in the process. And back, and let's do the other side again, just so we do a slightly faster movement there as well. So opposite arm and leg, and come down and change. Leaning forwards, whoops, leaning back, leaning forwards. You may find one side is easier to do than the other. I certainly find that. My one knee is not as stable as the other, so the rest of my body doesn't like that very much. A little bit of a faster swing there. Remember, you're rocking backwards and forwards as well at the same time. And come to center. Right, we're going to do a move called the arrow where we're going to stretch through all the meridians. So put your hands, prayer position, just under the bottom of the sternum there. Feet are fairly close together. And breathe down into your belly. Nice, long breaths in and out through your nose. Again, just keeping them roughly even. So now we stretch up. Hands go like an arrow above the head. And as you do that, you do an extension through your back. Bring your hands onto your head and squat. Just as far as you're happy to go. Come up. Stretch the arrow, drop your tailbone, tuck your chin in and extend. Hands onto your head and crouch down there. Right. Open your arms there. I'll do two more. Stretch up, back. Hands on your head. Bottom going behind you. Coming up. Stretch and then all the way down so that you hang your head down. If you can, let your hamstrings stretch there a little bit. And then slowly coming up, interlacing your fingers. Take your hands above your head, stretch up to the sky and come up onto your toes. Remember when you're coming up onto your toes, you're lifting that kidney one, bubbling spring point, and you're accentuating your weight bearing through your big toes. Heels down and then over to the side. And over to the other side. Coming back to center. Let your arms go out to the side. Drop your shoulders, but give yourself a lengthening through the width of your body. And at the same time, feel that your tailbones drop down, your chin's tucked in. So you're lengthening through the vertical direction of the spine as well. So in this position, we can take our head to the side. Take your arms down a little bit there. So you're spreading the feathers. And coming up, breathe in. And drop your ear to the shoulder, stretching the other side there. Come up. Turn your arms around so your hands are facing the sky. Keep your back long at the same time. Take your hands back. Make a space between your shoulder blades at the back. Breathe in and drop your ears down. So we're now stretching the inner part of the arm, all the yin meridians, and just before that we stretch the yang meridians on the outside. Breathe in and breathe out. And relax. Just let your arms come down. Close your eyes for a second and just notice how your body feels. Maybe a bit of tingling in your fingers, maybe your shoulders a little bit softer. Maybe you've got a little bit of a ache in your rhomboids or some space which wasn't quite as soft as it could have been. Right, open your legs and let's go moving the body like a river. So squatting back and hands on your knees, moving your hips, your shoulders and your head. So feeling that you're flowing like a river or you're just floating on the top of a wave or the swell like the kelp in the great Atlantic sea forest that goes from Namibia all the way around to the Cape. So breathe into one side, breathe out to the other, and notice that it's more difficult to get movement coming through from the thoracic to the neck. See if you can let your neck be really soft as you do this. And then slowly come up to a slightly higher position. And we're going to do the upper position of moving the body like a river. And now it's almost as if you're actually helping that river to flow. Still feel that it's hips, shoulders, neck. Notice the texture of the air as your fingers move through there. Coming back to center. Just hold the chi ball as you get back into position. And we're going to do double arm spirals. So holding your teacups, wide legs, hands go behind you as your bottom goes behind. Coming forwards, keep the tea and the teacups from spilling over your head and around. So closing the groin here, spiraling around, open the groin as you come back. So open through the groin, opening those leg gates, right back. Coming forwards. Back, up. And so we've been doing a lot of moving through the meridians, getting a lot of air in there. We've cleared out a little bit as well. And we're going to move from this to do some healing sounds. We haven't done them for a long time. Down. And just start a really slow shaking. It doesn't have to be too hard, just quite gentle, because we've had quite gentle sort of spiraling and we're going to go into flows after this. So just feel loose and floppy like a rag doll. And deep breath in, and we know that our healing sounds are very clearing. We'll start off with the lung and we'll do each sound 3 times. And so let's go in. And the lung sound is a really long exhale in your own time. And one more. And let's do the physical sound of the lung to really feel that vibration going into lungs, and that is with a Z. So in. And again in. And one more in. And we're going to the kidney. So I'm sure you felt the sort of vibration going through the ribs and through the air in the lungs when you did that one. So the kidney is like that train going up the hill, kidney very clearing, and it's a chu sound, so maybe a little bit faster. going into the liver. The liver's got an SH. Shh. Maybe think about the liver bouncing up and down while you do that. One more. And then we go to the heart. And the heart has HAW, ha sound with a bit of a W at the end. So one more. And we go into the spleen, which is the earth element, and it is a guttural sound. Whoa, whoa. So breathing in and think about your gut. And relax and close your eyes for a second and just notice how your body feels. You might feel a little bit more vibration in your body from all that buzzing and the humming and the synchronization of the sound and the different organs. And relax. Let's do a blither. And blow the whole body like a dog shaking his skin. And one more. And relax. Good. Shake your hands a couple of times. And we're going to fly a little bit. So there's so much stuff that we have to take responsibility for in life. And so our life can be quite heavy sometimes. So that's the nice thing about Qigong. We can just become a little bit light, shed some of those loads for a while. So flying, we're going to soften the knees, and we're going to start with our wings down here, taking them up just as far as shoulder level and coming down. Feathers are light. Any flying exercises give us a sense of lightness and the sense of perspective when we're looking at life, because we're seeing it from usually a bit of a distance, which is good. So elbows, hands up last, shoulders, elbows, hands down. Shoulders, elbows, hands, shoulders, elbows, hands. Just a very slight movement, straightening up a little bit as you come up and sinking just a tiny bit as you come down. And you can make this into a little bit of a moving meditation. You can close your eyes, or you maybe just have a light gaze at about a 45-degree angle in front of you, and just allow your mind to feel the movement of your arms. Be aware of your shoulders, your elbows, your hands. So attention is moving into the body rather than outside of us. Breathing in and out through the nose, just in your own time. Now, as you come up to shoulder level, lift your heels up, put a bit of weight through your big toe in particular, coming down, sinking a little bit more now, coming up, feel that you're flying higher. Can't take your heel off, then just lean forwards. There's more weight on the forefoot as you come up, more weight on the heels as you come down. Step 1 foot forwards and float your arms up and down. One leg forwards, one wing to the side and down. Two arms in front, two wings in front, coming down. One arm forwards and one to opposite side. Really good for your brain. Both arms to the center, rocking backwards and forwards as you do this. One to the front, one to the side, coming down. Up. Down. One to the side. Bring your foot back. Opposite foot in front and flying forwards, softly down. One to the front, one to the side. Both forwards. To the front, one to the side. Forwards. Side. Feel that your arms are just floating. Floating up with the breath, floating down with the breath. And maybe let your eyes look into the distance in front of you. Foot back. Step out. So we're going to pull down the heavens in the 6 directions. So lengthening through your shoulders, open your elbows, open your wrist, open your fingers, lengthen into the space on either side of you, feeling into that space on either side of you, feeling that your tailbone is dropped, feet are firmly rooted in the ground. Tuck your chin in. So again, you're long in a vertical plus a horizontal direction, and then turn front to back. Long spine as you turn. Feel the space in front of you, the space behind you, reaching right over through whatever continent you're on, across the sea to the next continent there. Let your hands come up towards the sky. Turn to face forwards and feel that you're stretching right up to the stars. Open through your shoulders, drop your tailbone down, tuck your chin in, your head lifting up, and then slowly, slowly, slowly floating down on the air, moving down towards the earth. Slowly, slowly. Feel the substance of the air. Out to the side again, breathing in. Lengthening shoulders, elbows, hands. Feel that lengthening going all the way through to the spine. Long spine. Forwards and back in the opposite direction. Feel the front of your chest opening there, making space for the lungs and your heart. Coming up to the sky. Dropping your tailbone, lifting your head. And tuck in there. And slowly coming down until you reach the level of the dantian. Hands coming to rest on top of each other, just below the navel. Feet closer together. And we'll do a few minutes of wind in bamboo or bamboo in the wind. Closing your eyes. And just notice how your body rocks and sways. Changing the weight through the feet. Notice the rootedness of your feet, but the flexibility of your body. Notice the touch of your clothes on your skin. The weight of your feet on the floor. Your head lifting up, touching the air above you. And listen out for any sounds that may be around you. Feeling a softness across the forehead between the eyebrows. Allowing your jaw to soften, shoulders to soften, your face to soften. You've got some warm sunlight shining on your face. And as you feel your face soften into a little bit of a smile there, allow the warmth on your face to turn inwards and just wash down so that you smile to your lungs. And thank you for breathing every day, every minute. Taking that smile down to your heart. Thanking it for allowing you to have relationships with the rest of the world and nature. And down to your liver on the right-hand side, behind the ribs. It does 500 minimum different things in your body. Making lots of cholesterol for you, metabolizing sugars. And then go across to your kidneys. So kidneys right behind, just in front of the spine. Sitting little hollows there, and kidneys are responsible for clearing the water in the body. Or water mechanics. And then over to the spleen. Spleen is very important for your manufacture of blood, but also your immunity. And in Chinese digestion, Chinese medicine, digestion, transformation of food into energy. So all your organs are smiling now, as well as the sun in your face. Let's take 1 or 2 nice deep breaths. Down into your belly, long, slow and deep. And slowly drop your arms and open your eyes. Give yourself a bit of a stretch. Good. Cooked up a nice stew pot in your lower dantian, so you've got a little bit left over to take with